Hello traders, how is everybody doing? This is Monday and we are on the 11th of April. I am your host, the Cowboy. Welcome to Elliott with Cafe. We're doing today another episode of the chart of the day, and we're going to take a look at OXY Petroleum. This was a request from one of my longer term subscribers, and I think it's an interesting stock, especially because it's the best performing stock in the S&P 500 year to date. And we'll come back and take a look at the count. But here is how it looks. I mean, I'm looking at the top S&P 500 performers, and OXY comes in at the first place with about 113% return year to date, followed by MOS, Mosaic Company, Halliburton, and a lot of energy and basic material that are kind of leading this market on the new all-time highs, and in terms of performance here. So if you don't find reasons to get into some bullish trends into a market that seems to be falling apart, here is energy and agriculture and basic materials and commodities, stuff like that. But I would be careful because they've done already a big amount of gains in here, so it's time to be cautious into this market. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you what's going on in the Occidental Petroleum and how that is the biggest performer year to date into the S&P 500. Let's jump over and take a look at the count. But before I do, I wanted to show you something else as well, and this is I'm going to go here and show you what's going on in terms of, this is stock charts and kind of a longer term outlook from 82, 83 in here, and kind of what's going on in the Occidental Petroleum. But I wanted to show you something in relationships to earnings. And this is a company that's very, very cyclical. So if I take the price of the chart, you will see on here, these are the adjusted operating earnings of Occidental Petroleum. And, that's what this green, this kind of green histogram shows you, what the earnings of these companies are actually doing. So, you go up, you come down, you go up, you crash in 2015, 2016, then you go back up again, you come down, and it's all over the place, right? And this is more of kind of what the market, the blue line is kind of more of a normal P/E ratio that the market assigns, and then, the orange line is more of a, let's say, intrinsic value, what real the market is kind of valued at. And, these are a little bit subjective, but, the price seems to follow accurately these type of trends if you look at multiple companies. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you what the cyclicality of this company looks like. And it's one of the reasons why one, in my view, should not be too excited about these companies being able to provide constant and big returns for the years ahead. So it's more of a speculative name in here, and they're expected to kind of drop in earnings, let's say, in 2023, 2024. So there might be still a little bit more upside this year, but it is, I think it's gonna be running out of steam here. So maybe, another move towards $70, $80, maybe a spike up to 100 for that matter. But then we should get into some larger declines. And, this is kind of how the price looks. This is where we are right now at about $60. And, again, the counts show there might be maybe a spike back towards 85 where we would find some resistance, and then we should fall apart. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at Motivate Software. This is the count. The data here only goes back to 1993. I have to enable some historical data on OXY. But it doesn't matter kind of what the markets did up to that point. I'm interested in this decline and in this rise, and I think this rise it's somewhat corrective, and it's probably gonna fall apart over the next few years into who knows what type of a pattern, maybe another ABC or maybe a larger decline. But going back from a 1 month to a kind of a 2-week price pattern, go ahead and try to count this move from the highs to this lows, and then the move from this lows to this highs. And if you want to stop the video, because next I'm going to show you kind of my count here. So this is kind of what I have. So I have an ABC decline, and then I have another ABC rise in price, and I'm watching this 100% equality at about $80, where wave C would be equal with wave A. This would come in the proximity of this B wave high, where I expect to encounter quite a bit of resistance. We are already at some heavy resistance levels here, anywhere between, let's say, 55 and 65. You can see where this kind of A wave low terminated, and then we had that big bounce in this B wave. So we're going to fight this area. I think what's happening in here is probably a fourth wave sideways price action, maybe one more push higher, and then maybe towards the end of the year, and then we're gonna probably fall back down. And I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit, and I'll show you what this wave A looks like. I think that's a leading diagonal. So it looks to me like this, where I go in a wave 1, up in a wave 2, ABC, down in 3, up in 4, and then down in 5. This creates an A wave. Then you push up here in this B. Let's do a fib on that B wave. So it's right into the 618, beautiful, golden zone retracement right there for a B wave, and then you crash lower in this larger C, and it's probably a wave 1, 2, and then a large drop 3, 4, and 5. So I'll show you that here, right? Just maybe wave 1 terminates right there, and then you just a short wave 2, and then 3, large 4 in here, followed by I don't think it's debatable that this is a clean impulse down. It kind of finished up into these levels. You can notice the divergence in here between 4 and 5, and then the subsequent rally beginning here. So I'm going to go here to a weekly chart. I want to show you how this looks, and the rise from these lows to this highs, it's an A. I think you have a flat in a B wave. That's an ABC, nice flat. Then you go up in another impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get rid of this cursor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, down in 2. Then you're working towards the top of a larger third wave. That is near the 1618 multiple of wave 1 from the bottom of the wave 2. Get rid of that. And then I think we're going to do possibly a fourth wave, one more push higher here in this fifth, and then we're going to correct. I don't think the sequence is over because I don't see a proportionate fourth wave just yet. Now, it doesn't have to get too large. We'll see what happens, but I would not be the one to kind of bet on a lot of further strength into this one, right? I think the meat of the move has already been made, and it's time to be cautious here. So if you're going to trade maybe a fifth wave, that's fine, but just kind of be careful. I mean, the RSI is dropping in here. You can notice how this move looks like. You know, you might have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe that's a 1, 2, 3. Maybe you already have a 4 and a 5. Maybe one more tiny push higher there for a third, and then you're going to fall in a fourth wave. So I think it's time to be cautious in this one. Again, you might just spike a little bit, but I would not put a lot of hopes from here on out that this one will be very aggressive. I could be wrong, and the market could just continue to rip to the upside. But I don't think that's the case. I think we might get a little bit of a pause in here, and still maybe trend slightly higher, but at a lower rate, with a lower velocity and all that. So, and the reason why I'm looking at this as an ABC is just because what I've showed you before in terms of earnings and cyclicality of the stock, that I think, this ABC is more appropriate than a 1, 2, and let's say a 3 in here, which would actually have to go to 161.8 multiple, which is, much higher. I don't know. I don't even think it falls in here. There you go. It's got to be towards $180 to have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 towards 161.8. Now, sure, you can always get something like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, where you go, let's say 1, 2, and then, get another 1, 2 here. It might be unlikely, and then break to the upside. So that's the other ultra bullish scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's why I'm preferring this versus the other. So I'm going to stick with this for right now. I hope this is helpful. Well, I'm going to save this up, and then I will put a date on here just to kind of remind ourselves what it was the last time when we looked at this. And we'll come back and revisit maybe in a month or so and see kind of how this looks, 2022. And we'll lock this and just kind of anchor it in there to stay on all the charts and all the time frames and all of that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the Occidental Petroleum. Interesting move in here, a very good performer year to date, but I think it's going to take a pause. Guys, with that, I'll just leave it there. Come and visit us into the program, give us a try, come and see what we're doing in there. The link is below this video. Subscribe and like. Check out my Bitcoin and Ethereum video from Saturday. That's interesting, and it's got a lot of information there, especially for Elliott wave lovers there, and for anybody for that matter. So check that out, and I'll see you tomorrow with something else that should be interesting. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.